Hello, we're going to begin number 1 on this practice final exam. Which of the following general statements about visual representations of data is false? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one, figure out whether they're true or false, and then we'll find our answer. So let's start with A. In a frequency polygon or graph, the mode represents the highest point in the figure. So what we're going to do is take a look at a frequency polygon. Okay, down here, what we have are test scores and then the frequency. So just to kind of interpret this frequency polygon, how many people got a 50? Well, that would be about 20. How many people got a 60? And that's about 50. And then how many got a 70? Looks like about 40 people. How many got an 80? It's about 20. And then a 90, maybe like 25. So what is this point right here? Because this is the highest point. Well, this all represent the frequency, and so the highest point is the one that occurred the most often, which by definition is the mode. So the mode is the highest point in a frequency distribution or a frequency polygon. So that shows A is true. Let's move on to B. The curve of a normally distributed data set is sometimes called a bell curve. We've talked about that in class. That is true. Next, we have a histogram is often called a bar chart. You can take a look at your notes or your textbook, but we defined a histogram as a bar chart of a frequency distribution. So a histogram, often called a bar chart, that will be true as long as you're talking about a frequency distribution. All right, in a pie chart of Dave's expenses, if the section labeled rent is more than half the pie, then Dave spends more than 50% of his money. Well, if you take a look at a circle, all right, and you have half your pie or more than half to rent, remember that a pie graph represents the proportion of the money you spend, in this case, of Dave's expenses. So if the rent represents more than half the pie, then it means it represents more than half of his money. So he spends more than 50% on his rent. And so D is true. So we're guessing that E is false. Let's just take a look at that one. So we have the mean. Oops, there we go. A mean of a data set is the middle number of the labels of a bar chart. Okay, so labels of a bar chart would just be numbers in a list. So what we're really implying here is that the mean is the median, because the middle number is the median. So is that always true? Again, a bar chart just means it's going to be a list of numbers on, the axis down here, the x-axis. So let's take a look at just a very simple list of numbers. We have 1, 2, and 6. So the mean would be add these together, which is 9, divided by 3, because you have 3 numbers, and so your mean is 3. The median is easy to find. The median will be the middle number, which is the 2. And so do you have, well, is 3 equal to 2? And it's not. So the answer to E is going to be false. So the answer to number 1 is E.